with the medical community before. You go, you talk to the doctor. Something's not right, doc. I don't feel right. I don't feel good. I can't describe it. He sends you for some tests. They come back negative. He says clearly it's in your head. You're not really sick because these tests say that you're fine. And you get more frustrated. So he sends you for more tests, which also come back negative, which gets you more frustrated, which sends you for more tests. And you start to wonder, maybe it really is me. Maybe I'm not really all that sick. For me, the frustration of not being diagnosed properly could only be outdone by the abject fear of getting the proper diagnosis. Sitting in my car that cold November day, waiting to go into the doctor's office. Sitting there, I still remember the radio was on, smoking what turns out the last ever cigarette I would ever smoke. Just sitting there. What's he gonna say? How sick am I? I'm always tired, I'm always cranky, something is not right. Hopefully it's not cancer. Walking in the doctor's office. My sensory was all on overload. I'm walking in the doctor's office and I'm overwhelmed with the sounds, the lights, the brightness from the fluorescent, the buzzing of the fluorescent lights, the rustling of the nurses' uniforms, the ambient noise of people talking in a busy office. And the only thing that was distracting me from all of that was the overwhelming sound, ba-boom, ba-boom, of my own heart pounding inside my chest. Wondering what I'm going to hear, what's coming, what's in it for me. So the nurse walks me back to the office, and I'm trying to look cool. I'm trying to look like I'm not sitting on the edge of my seat, so I grab a magazine, first magazine I see, and I'm flipping through it nervously, just reading some article in a Field and Stream or something about a boat and a fish, and I don't boat, and I don't fish, so I'm really not paying attention to a word in the magazine, but I look cool. Then the doctor comes in. My heart sinks in my chest. Comes in happy as can be. Hey Wayne, how are you? Screw a smile on my face, and I eke out a, hi doc. When secretly inside all I'm thinking is, can we skip through the damn pleasantries so you can tell me what the hell is wrong? The next sentence would forever change my life. When the doctor looks at me straight ahead and says, we know exactly what's wrong. You have a pituitary tumor, cancer. I didn't catch the part where he said it's not cancer. All I heard was tumor, cancer. Tears welling up, wondering what the hell is happening to me. How am I going to handle this? And as I'm having a million conversations in my head, the doctor's busy scribbling on that butcher paper they keep on top of the table. And I'm looking around, and all I hear is Charlie Brown's teacher just wailing away. And all I catch is the last sentence. Do you have any questions? Well, yeah, I have about 1 million questions. And I don't know which one to ask first. The first one that comes to mind is, am I going to die? But that comes out as, no. So I walk out, I go to the internet. Where else can you go for information but the internet? I'm empowered by knowledge and enfeebled by terror. I go and I look up acromegaly. All I find online is that it killed Andre the Giant. Not exactly something that makes me feel that much better about my situation. So I go and I look up further and I try and find more information. I finally learn, okay, this is a pituitary disease. It is not cancer. I can live with this. It produces too much hormones. Now I understand why I'm as big as I am. Untreated, average lifespan is 30 to 50. I'm 32. This isn't good. So, I have a choice. I can either be treated properly, which who knows what that means, or I can die. The second solution was less desirable for me. So I chose to go for treatment. I was just going to the doctor complaining that I was tired, that I was cranky, that I couldn't sleep at night, that I was always in pain. As it turns out, there were other symptoms that I had that I didn't know were related. The fact that I was over 300 pounds, my tremendous underbite, my huge hands and feet, the fact that I had chest pain when I went to the gym, when I wasn't 50, 60, 70, 80 years old. The fact that I felt like a 70 or 80-year-old. I looked for support online, and all I found was loneliness. There was no one looking back at me except for that bloated image in the mirror that I so hated. It wasn't that no one loved me or no one cared about me. It was that they didn't know how to help. It was they didn't know how to offer me the help that I needed. So where do I go? I look online. I found support groups locally, but support groups are for cancer. I don't have cancer. I'd go and I'd sit in these rooms with people who are rail thin, who are losing all their hair. And they look at me like, okay, we know we're dying. You don't. How do I not understand that they have no empathy for me? I understand this, but it still leaves me cold. So I have to look further. My last chance is the internet. One lonely night, I find a group on MySpace. Well, founded a group on MySpace is more like it. I created it. And I found a handful of people there who I could talk to, who could relate to me. A couple years later, Facebook comes along. I create a Facebook account. Same thing. I create another group. All of a sudden we have 50, 60, 70, 100 people. I'm not the freak. I can talk to people about, I hate walking to a room and having everyone notice me first. I hate the pat on the back that, hey there, big guy. Other people can identify with this. All of a sudden you don't feel like a freak. I have friends all over the world, in Japan and Australia, all over the country. People who, before us, were totally alone. 2009, I get invited to sit on a couple of advisory panels. And I actually get to sit in another room with other people with the disease. It was like sitting together with a group of old friends who you've never met before. We lost endless hours sitting and talking. But we finally had some relief. We had that physical contact that the doctor couldn't offer me. A hug, a handshake, I know what you're going through. It offers a certain dimension that we just didn't have before. Now we have Acromegaly Community and acromegalycommunity.com, where we have friends all over the universe who all can come together and say, I know what you're talking about. Mr. Toastmaster.